They click, just cost you $2, $3, $4 for that click. They see a big logo on mobile, right? They're like, okay, I'm out of here. Hey, what's going on? Vince Reed here, and welcome to another episode of Ad Roulette, where we critique ads and funnels, making them better, following this simple three-part framework that you see here on the screen. So here's how the game works. My team, we just get the scrolling on Instagram, because I don't know if you know this, every third or fourth post is an ad. We find 2 ads, we find 2 funnels, we critique them to make them better, and then we pick a winner. And with that being said, let the games begin. Drum roll, please. All right, so what we got here? Awesome. AudienceLab.io. Man, we're seeing a lot of IOs and AI businesses. Really, really cool to see. All right, so the first thing we want to look at with an ad is we have to look at the messaging. All right, so remember, specifically with video ads, okay? Every ad that pops up in the news feed, it pops up and it's muted, right? So what the messaging has to do is give me a general idea of what the ad is all about, assuming that the person does not actually unmute the video and actually listen to the actual ad. So in this case, the messaging, it says here on the top, pocket 5K retainers every week using data as a service. All right, so this looks like a biz op offer. I think that he's doing a good job. He's got the captions going on and he's even highlighting each word where he's at. So a person could technically follow along with this entire ad without actually listening to it. So he's taking messaging extremely clear, especially in a day and age where ad costs and clicks are extremely expensive. So I like it. So with that being said, we need to move on to the creative. And what the creative has to do is further explain what the ad is all about, okay, if the messaging does a poor job. But in this case, he did a good job with the messaging. So go ahead and let's take a listen to the ad.
Audience Lab, even before it was called Audience Lab. And I quit because I didn't believe in the tech. I started my own sales company called People Over Profits, which was all hinged on selling with integrity, because that's something that's really important to me. I can't sell something I don't believe in. Fast forward 4 years later, after declining multiple invites to come back, they convinced me to at least give it a shot and check out what they had built. Jesse and Adam, 2 of the co-founders, I grilled them. Absolutely grilled them more than you would grill a salesperson if you were skeptical. And because it's important, you know, it's not just buying something, it's selling something, it's affecting people's lives, their families, especially when you're working with agency owners. And so I got my hands on everything: testimonials, case studies, the school group, looking at the community, seeing what people are actually saying on the bad days, looking at how to leverage the tech in the best way possible. The team even flew me out to Canberra in order to work closely with Adam to understand it better.
All right, so if I'm honest, I'm not sure if he's the one selling the product or if this is a testimonial. I'm gonna use just common sense. It sounds like he's using this product and he's giving a testimonial type of ad. And the reason I stop it right now and not go all the way through is because you gotta remember, this is reality. This ad scrolling through the news feed, okay? And obviously the reason it kind of started playing somewhat in the middle, because that's the reality of what happens, right? The ad, like I said, it starts playing, it's muted. People are gonna play when they're ready to push play or listen to it or unmute it when they're ready. And in this case, that's when I did. I listened to it for a little bit, heard a little bit about the story. But in this instance, I'm not quite sure of what this is. I have an idea from the messaging, and that's why messaging is extremely important when the video doesn't always support it. However, I'm sure he goes into and explains a lot more, but this is how people are acting. This is what's happening when I'm watching these ads. Again, I'm looking at it like a complete stranger that's popped up in the news feed. With that being said, that's why the next step, the copy, is extremely important, because if a person does exactly what I just did, okay, I'm clear with the messaging. I'm a little uncertain with the video ad because of what I listened to. Now we go ahead and look at the copy and see if it supports even more. So go ahead and click more. Scroll down a bit here. All right, discover how 1,000 agencies are leveraging data as a service to secure high-paying clients effortlessly. Here's how. It's called DASS, Data as a Service, and it's what over 1,000 agency owners, okay, I think that's a typo there, are using to generate clients that pay $2,500 plus per month with no overhead. Okay, so this is some type of service that agencies are offering their clients. All right, so you can see how does it work. You see the companies who actually have the budget to pay you don't care about adding more stuff to their campaigns. They don't want more Facebook ads, they don't want more AI chatbots, they don't want more complex CRMs. Cool, I love that they don't want. And then it goes to what they want. They want better ads, higher conversions, lower costs per acquisition, and more insights. Keep scrolling down. They're willing to pay for it to get it, and he kind of goes into more. How on earth do you do that? We actually provide you exclusive access to our proprietary targeting system. Okay, cool. So this is going over everything. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This guy was like, okay, I'm gonna be clear with the messaging. I'm gonna give you a little bit more information. Obviously, people are gonna react the way that I did, maybe not listen to the whole video ad, and then he did everything to support so there's extreme clarity in the copy. Okay, I thought you did a good job. Okay, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the funnel. All right, so we want the funnel to be a continuation from the ad. All right, so you can see on the top, we've got AL, I'm assuming that's the branding for Audience Lab. Okay, I think there's a lot of wasted space there. This is again an example of what I probably would make an assumption here, that this is an ad that isn't 100% optimized for mobile. Probably looks extremely well on a desktop computer. Okay, we don't need the big AL sign right there. Remember, the person just saw the ad, they wanna know what this is all about. They wanna know how they're gonna get 5K retainers. All right, so you can see the main headline for agency owners looking to charge more, have zero fulfillment, and still scale with higher profit margins. Okay, definitely you want to bring that scale down. Again, this is an example where I know this isn't optimized for mobile, and this is a mistake I've made. A lot of people make it, okay? Again, you're not really checking the mobile version or the different way it looks on different phones. So scale is one line by itself, and a person that's looking to invest or looking for something, they're looking at these little minute details, okay? They may overlook like a typo here or there, but something like that, they're like, okay, this looks like it could be not put together, or maybe somebody that's just kind of trying to get my money. Remember, we're always thinking worst case scenario from the person looking at it. Okay, then you can see there it says the main headline, white label our data tech and build a data as a service offer in your agency. And then obviously under there again, book a call, and you can see the same thing, the agency's its own line. We gotta tighten that up. That should be 3 lines, that doesn't need to be 4, that agency. And then that scale, as you can see, that's the thing that's standing out. And also there's a lot of copy here, so I'm having to force myself to read everything. This, in my opinion, should be pushed up. We can get rid of the AL, push everything up, and there probably should be even another video to better explain why. Because what you're selling right here in this particular funnel is you're selling them to book a call. Okay, that's what you're selling. Okay, that means that you have to give these individuals a reason to book a call and spend their time to get on the phone with you. These people are smart. They know that it's probably gonna be some kind of high ticket offer, and they're gonna have to take some of their time to get on this call with you. You've got to sell that, and that's why I like to have a video there, even if it's the same video that you had in the ad, okay, to essentially, again, explain it so there's never any confusion from that person. That might actually increase the cost of the application, but you'll get better quality applications and your conversions will go up. All right, now, if you scroll up to the top, real quick, okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. The button looks like it is mobile friendly, okay, so it's above the fold. I'm ready to apply. Scroll down a little bit, you will be redirected to our application form. All right, and there's the video right below. Okay, so that's cool. So what I would want to do is take this video below and move it up. So go up to the top, we take that video that's right there, move it up, get rid of AL, move everything up, and then you got everything mobile friendly. All right, so a lot to think about with this funnel. I would say pretty clear in terms of what I understand what they're trying to do, and I think just some minor tweaks have this thing optimized and perform better. That being said, let's look at the next one. Drum roll, please. All right, it's Kai Backs. So we got a vertical video ad, I love it. All right, so the first thing we wanna do is we wanna dive into the messaging. Really, really difficult to do on a video ad. Why? Because the ad starts playing immediately, okay, muted when you see it in your news feed, right? So from a messaging perspective, what I love to do with messaging, because I understand that it's difficult to essentially have it be clear from a messaging perspective, is hold some type of message for the first 5 to 10 seconds of the video when it starts. That way, if it's scrolling, my eyes catch that and I know what it's all about. But in this case, you can see that the video is just playing. I have no idea what's going on. Now, granted, he's got the captions going, right? But not everybody's gonna be able to follow along. Obviously, there's some B-roll and some things happening. You can see perfect fit, number 2, enough funds. But again, I'm not really sure from a messaging what's happening here. All right, so again, messaging is really tough to hammer home. So that's why you wanna hold that message, which means that the next step in our framework, the creative has to be perfect to support what this ad is all about. So let's go ahead and press play and listen to the ad.
Same services, literally nothing else changed. So if you run a marketing agency or coaching business, then I'll give you this same AI ads funnel so that you can install it into your business and scale to 10K per month, 100K per month, or even $1 million a month plus in the next 90 days or less. And in fact, instead of me just sitting here telling you this works, let me just show you instead. So not only have we worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, such as Russ Ruffino, Aaron Parkinson, Grow AI, The Draw Shop, among literally thousands of others, but on top of that, one of our clients here, Matt, has closed 611 11K so far in his first 57 days, which is over 10K per day that he's generating in cash directly from his AI ads. Last month, Nate and his sales team had...
Okay, cool. We can stop it. Okay, you can tell he obviously knows what he's doing with the ads. The framework was great. It was really clear what he was going to teach. He's going to install some type of AI marketing system and essentially get you to 5, 10, 100K per month. And then he goes right into the proof, showing different people. He went into some of the people that he's worked with, some big names in the industry. So really clear framework in terms of what he's doing with the ad and doing what I expected it to do, because the messaging didn't quite hold the message in the beginning. He had to go overboard and be extremely clear with what he was offering in the video ad, and it did just that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the copy. From the copy perspective, you can see not super long form, pretty tight put together copy. This AI ads funnel generates my sales team 300 to 500 qualified pre-sold sales calls every month for my high ticket offer on complete autopilot. All right, so and then he goes into the same AI ads funnel. It's what Matt uses to average 10K a day. And new cash collected for his marketing agency. Jason is doing, so he went into a bunch of people getting results for proof. So if you're interested in how you can install this, same AI ads funnel for $0 down and only pay after you've gotten results, then click on the link. I think that's a great, strong offer. Okay, specifically in this space, really strong offer. Watch the video on the next page, really clear. Definitely support it. So as you can see, where it lacked in the messaging, really clear in the creative side and very clear in the copy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the funnel. All right, so the funnel, you want it to be a continuation from essentially the ad. And as I can see here right from the jump, it looks like it's doing that. You got the branding up top, scaleclients.io. Calling out his target market from the page headline perspective, coaches, consultants, agencies, and then obviously you've got the main headline, how to use low budget AI meta ads to grow any marketing agency or coaching business to 10K per month, 100K per month, or even 1 million a month in the next 90 days or less for $0 down and only pay after you've gotten results. All right, so this is really clear of what it is. However, it kind of goes against what I teach my clients in a sense of, I don't want a person on mobile alone. Again, I guarantee this looks impeccable on a desktop computer. I want to try to shorten the copy. I want the client, when they click, their eyes to be able to look at the top of the copy and understand what's going on. So for example, 10, 100, or even 1 million a month, that's a lot to say, right? You figure out a way to shorten all that up. I think if you can get that to 3 lines, bigger font, it might convert a little bit better on mobile, but it's not a thing where you're going to get docked a point because it's there. But again, the end user, you're forcing them to physically have to take their eyes and read through each and every word, whereas you want them to be able to see it and immediately know what's going on here. Now we've got the video, which again, is going to add more emphasis and understanding of what this is all about. And then you've got above the fold, schedule a call here, which makes this mobile friendly. Everything you want to see from a mobile friendly perspective, you can see this is clearly optimized for mobile and did a good job on this funnel. All right, so you know what that means. It's time to pick a winner. Hey, now before we get to the winner of this episode of Ad Roulette, I know it's good. If you are running ads to a webinar or a VSL funnel, check out my members area inside my eBooth account. I want to show you how we're getting 50 to 79% conversions on our funnels, driving traffic to regular webinar and VSL funnels, and how we're using eBooth to do it. So if you click on the link in the description of this video, you can check out our quick VSL. It'll explain more about eBooth, and it'll take your funnel game to a whole new level. All right, with that being said, let's get back to the episode. All right, so let's go ahead and start with audiencelab.io. All right, so the messaging was clear, pocket 5K retainers every week using data as a service. So immediately you get a point, the messaging was clear. You even went a step further, you had the captions, even highlighting where you were in terms of what you were saying in the video. So really clear in terms of the messaging. Okay, now from the creative perspective, again, when I watched it, I pressed play kind of in the middle of the ad. However, it was kind of going into the story. I wasn't sure if it was his product, or it was a testimonial. Even right now, I'm still a little bit uncertain, but I would assume that this was the guy that got this product. It sounded like he asked a lot of questions before he purchased it, which again was an interesting take from a test, if it was a testimonial, because he's kind of saying the things that someone who was fresh and looking at this would be asking, well, how much did you actually, when you got this, did you do your due diligence? He's basically saying, I did my due diligence before I bought the product, which was interesting. All right, now from the copy perspective, again, I thought it was really creative in terms of, or clear, I should say, of what was going on in the copy of what he was offering as well. So From the messaging perspective, you definitely get a point because it was clear, because you hit the messaging, you hit the captions. But from the creative perspective, because of, again, the real life of terms of what happens on a traditional video ad when it pops up in the news feed, I started playing it in the middle. I didn't listen to the whole thing, so I was still forced to make an assumption of what was happening in terms of what it actually was and how this actually worked, right? But again, I could make an assumption, I'm gonna give you that, but I can't give you a point because the clarity, I still needed to kind of figure out what was happening. But the copy did above and beyond job of explaining what it was. So I will give you a point for the copy, but I can't give you a point for the creative, only because of where I landed. I'm sure if I listened to the whole thing, it probably was on point, but that's just not the way video ads work. And that's the whole point of us doing these episodes. So for that reason, you get a 2 out of 3 when it comes to the ad. All right, now from a funnel perspective, okay, you can see, okay, the branding on the top, okay, the headline. Again, we want the video, the ad to be a continuation when it gets to the funnel of what's happening here, right? So when I click, right, boom, they click, just cost you $2, $3, $4 for that click. They see a big, AL logo on mobile, right? They're like, okay, I'm out of here. I don't know. And then they see a bunch of copy, and their eyes are like, I gotta go read through all this before I understand what's going on, right? So from a messaging perspective, I can't give you a point because, again, what I'm looking at here is the page headline and the creative, and I don't see a page headline and I don't see the creative. Why? Because the video was below the button, right? I would move that video up. Okay, that video that was below needs to come up and be right in the middle. So we get rid of the big branding, move this up, right? And then we put the video in the middle. And obviously the creative would have been there with the video, it would have been great, and you already have the mobile friendly button. So because the page headline is the big logo, I can't give you a point there. And because the creative was below the video, I can't give you a point there. However, it is mobile friendly, so we'll give you a point, which means you get a 1 out of 3 when it comes to the funnel for a grand total of 3 out of 6. All right, so let's take a look at It's Kai box. So looking at this ad, I could tell immediately that Kai knows what he's doing when it comes to ads. It's a really clean ad, a vertical ad, I love it. And messaging is really tough to hit when it comes to video ads. So again, just for those of you watching, how do I hit messaging from a video perspective? You just have to hold some type of text or copy for the first 5 to 10 seconds of the video ad. So if I'm scrolling, I would see what it's all about right in the very beginning as I'm talking. Obviously that can come off of the video after the first 5 or 10 seconds, but that would be a way to fix messaging from a video ad, which again starts playing and starts playing muted. All right, now from the creative perspective, on point. Said exactly what it was all about. Talked about the AI system that prints money, essentially 5, 10, 100K a month. I'm going to give it to you, install it in your business. It was clear. And then he went into the people that he's worked with. I mean, everything you need in the ad. He had the framework that you see in a lot of classic ads. And then I thought it did an even better job from the copy, explaining everything that it was all about, which again lets me know that this person knows what he's doing when it comes to ads, because the video ad did everything it needed to do, and the copy supported it, even though the messaging, just looking at it, I mean, if you look at this, and if I don't know what's going on, I'm just seeing a guy sitting there talking. So the video ad supported what it needed to, and the copy supported what it needed to. However, I can't give you a point for messaging, which means that I'm gonna go ahead and give you a 2 out of 3 when it comes to the ad. All right, now the funnel. Okay, this was a really good job on the funnel outside of my own personal biases, okay? Page headline to hit on point, you had the branding on the top, you called out your ideal client, and you explain exactly what the video is gonna teach you how to do, which is how to use low budget AI meta ads to grow any marketing agency or coaching business to 10K or more in 90 days. And 0 down, the offer was irresistible. I thought the offer was strong. And obviously you've got the video there to support everything with the mobile friendly button, all right? So because you hit the page headline on point, my own personal bias, I would like to see that like 3 lines versus what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the two subhead, right? So there's 1, 2 there. There's a lot of stuff that the person has to read. I think if you can get that to 3 in terms of the main headline, and then maybe get that subhead where it starts at as $40 down, get that to 1 line, that would shrink that up, maybe make it a little bit bigger and easier on the eyes, and then obviously would push more people to just watch the video. And obviously the video is great, the creative is good, the button's mobile friendly, so the headline is great. Funnel looks good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a point on each one of those categories, which means that you got a 3 out of 3 when it comes to the funnel, which gives you a grand total of 5 out of 6 for your ads and funnel, which means the winner of this episode of Ad Roulette is It's Kai Box. Congratulations, Kai, for being the winner. Okay, these are great funnels. A lot to learn from, guys. I mean, there's things I'm gonna pick up here in each funnel. I mean, I think that it was really clean, and we can learn a lot. I mean, this was interesting, the captions. with the highlighted captions was a good way to really improve messaging. And obviously I thought this video added all the framework that you need. Definitely take notes from these funnels, guys. But it's your turn to let me know if I picked the right winner. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Later.